The team president said yesterday that the playoffs are a goal for this team. How do you feel about that?
I couldn't agree more. Obviously, it's something that we want to accomplish, and the moves we made over the summer are just a continuation of what we've been doing over the last 16, 17 months. And within the walls of our locker room and the walls of this building, we feel good about the direction we're going in. And we're just going to continue to work at getting better daily. And I know that may be a little bit redundant, but it's the truth. And certainly, the goals are to make the playoffs. We want to make the playoffs.
What's that challenge like? You're trying to develop some young players, but yet you want to try to get to the playoffs?
Yeah, obviously that's a piece of it that is part of our equation. We certainly are young in some key positions, and we're well aware of that. But we really feel like the guys that are coming back in their second year, full year with us, they certainly have done everything we've asked them to do away from the rink. They look in better shape. They're a little bit older, a little bit more mature, and we just want to continue to build on the progress they made last year.
When you reviewed your first year, what did you come up with for yourself, and what do you think you will need to build on, improve yourself on?
Two things that I think, from a team standpoint, we have to do a much better job of, and that's D-zone coverage and penalty killing. We're not going to have a chance to accomplish what we think we're capable of accomplishing if we don't do a better job on our own end and do a better job on a penalty kill. From our end of it, I just think there's going to be a lot more familiarity with our players. I think no matter what level you take a first-time job at, there is a learning curve and there is a feeling out process, and we went through that last year as a staff. And I just think we're going to be in a much better position to hit the ground running this year because we do have a level of familiarity between the players and the coaches.
Would you expect to not have to do as much correction on effort as much reminding guys? And no, seriously.
Yeah,
I've been through a year with you, and
right.
So
I hope so.
Do you think they start
Yes.
Understanding exactly what's
needed
rather than waiting to see?
Yeah, the hope is that the veterans, which I know they will, I think they understand what's expected of them. One of the things I really liked last year was the connection between the coaches and the players and the buy-in. And I think our veterans certainly understand the way we want to play and what's expected of us on a daily basis. And instead of us setting that precedent, I think their effort, and if they see somebody not doing what they're supposed to be doing, I think they're going to take it upon themselves to correct it as opposed to us correcting it.
How does it, if it does at all, having Panarin, who has proven the dynamic player that he is in the NHL, how does that change your dynamic as a coach in game in terms of what you look at, what you think your team could potentially do, ice time, with a player of this caliber who's proven it at this level?
Yeah, well, I thought we had a little bit of that last 3 to 4 week stretch before the trade deadline when Zook, Mika, and Kreider were as good a line as there was in the National Hockey League. And, I think having Panarin here from the get-go gives us a true first line. I thought we kind of had that evolve last year as the season went on. And, when you have a line like that, it certainly lessens the load for the other 3 lines. And they take an awful lot of pressure off the other 3 lines. And, we're hoping they take a lot of pressure off some of our younger players that are put in key positions. So, we've talked about what type of player he is and the dynamic player that he is and what he's going to do for our team. And, to have that opportunity to have a line like that from the get-go this year, I think will put us in a better position.
Who's the other guy on the line?
That's a good question. We'll find out.
I know the middle. Another guy in the middle.
It's, again, we're in the process. That's what training camp's for. We've got some ideas of what we want to do, and that's the one thing that I think is unique about our team. There are some moving pieces and some players that I think are going to have an opportunity to solidify their roles. And right now I'll tell you that it's going to be Buchnevich with Mika and Panarin to start. And I think Bucci had a really good last 2 months of the season. We certainly want to build off the way his season ended, and I think he deserves that opportunity.
Does that help fortify the other lines when you have those kind of decisions that makes the second line even stronger?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it gives us depth throughout the lineup, which you need depth, obviously. When you look at the teams that have had success in the playoffs, from top to bottom, you've got to be deep and you've got to be able to roll four lines to a certain degree. That certainly doesn't mean your fourth line plays the same amount of minutes as your first line, but those guys have to contribute. And I think having a player like him and having a first line just lengthens your lineup a little bit.
Have you identified, for your guys who can play the middle and the line, have you identified where you want them to start and where you see them, or would that be in flux throughout camp? Maybe look at Rios in the middle of the wing, or look at Hegel in the middle of the wing, not know what you know Kravtsov, if he's just on the wing, Paco, Strong.
I'd like to give these guys some stability and put them in a position. But again, I think if you look at the league, when you've got high-end players, when they get into the league at a young age, they're all centers for the most part, and a lot of them are asked to play the wing early on in their career, and then they learn to play the middle because it's such a demanding position. That being said, I want to see Phil Hedl in the middle. I want to see, I want to give him a full opportunity to play the middle. I think it's an opportunity for him to use his skating and his ability. He looks different this year. He just turned 20, so that's a good sign.
Looks different now.
He just looks different. He looks a little bit more mature. He looks more confident. There was an awful lot going on for him last year, and he's carrying himself differently. I think he thinks he belongs. And if you're going to be a great player in this league, you got to have some swagger. And I thought Phil isn't different for a lot of 19-year-olds when you get in this league. I think there's a little bit of trepidation and a little bit of uncertainty, and I think he's over that.
You mentioned when it been up the D-end. What do Fox and Truber add to the mix in order to do that?
Well, Truber particularly, you're talking about a guy who's had a lot of success at our level, and from power play, penalty killing, 5-on-5 play. He's done an awful lot in this league in a lot of situations. So just having him in our lineup, a guy that's played an awful lot of hockey in the league and has had the successes that he's had, I think it just makes every other defenseman a little bit better. You're not asking people to do things maybe that they're not able to handle consistently, and I think we were able to put our defensemen in a better position night in and night out to use their strengths to their advantage.
It would be easy to look at Taco and say, well, he could be on that line too with Panarin and Megan. Is it something that, do you look at him and Kravtsov and say, well, they've got to earn that? Maybe Buchanan earned it last year, and these two guys still have to prove it.
Yeah, I think for sure they have to earn it. Obviously, those guys have a great pedigree, and both of them play pro hockey. So I think they may have a little bit of a leg up on your normal rookie. That being said, you've got to find out, what they're capable of doing against men day in and day out. And I think they have to earn that opportunity. And maybe in 10 days, I feel differently about both of them. But you want to put them in a position again. You don't want to ask them to do too much, to put too much pressure on them day in and day out. You want to give them an opportunity to have some success and work their way up.
We've been around Hank for a year now. Does coming into this camp give you more of a feeling of how many games you want to see him play, what you want him to do as far as the end of the season?
Yeah, we were talking about towards the end of last year. You look across the league has kind of shied away from having a guy play 65, 70 games. We talked about it yesterday. You look at his last 2 years, he's had 2 great first halves and then maybe a little bit of a dip the second half of each season, and we want to avoid that. We want him to have a great season. So when we do make the playoffs, he's in a position where he's fresh and he's coming off a stretch of great hockey, and he can carry us to the next level. And that's our goal. And I think as you get older throughout your career, everybody has to manage their career and make some adjustments, and he's a smart guy. He's aware of that.
How do you anticipate juggling developing young guys, still trying to win every night? How do you anticipate that kind of playing out?
Yeah, we went through it last year. It's just, I'm big on intentions. Mistakes are going to happen, but what are your intentions? And to me, if you're playing with the right intentions, a lot less mistakes are going to happen. And if we can get everybody to play with the right intentions, that transition is going to be a lot easier for these younger players. So that's a message we're going to send from day one in camp. The good news is a lot of these guys, these second-year players, have obviously heard us and what our demands are and what our expectations are, so it's not going to be new to them. And I think it'll help it with the rookies, guys that are here for the first time. I think it'll help send that message from a different voice other than ours.
Do you know what you're going to do that, at least for the interim, with D'Angelo not here? Do you have a player that you decided to move to the right side?
You know, Morrow's here, there's other guys that are capable of playing the right
He
side.
plays the right.
Yeah, he can play the right, so we've got plenty of defensemen we have a lot of confidence in, and it'll be competition for that position.
Do you have any opinion of D'Angelo's absence?
I'm gonna talk about the guys that are here. Pull Bill Belichick on there. One time, give me one mulligan.
How excited are you to get this thing going with what you guys added and what you drafted and just seeing how it's all gonna work out?
I mean, I think excitement's the right word. And again, I think what we did over the summer is just a continuation of what we've been doing. And I know there may be bigger names and bigger splashes, but you know, you're talking about two young players in this league who have had a lot of success and are gonna be here for the long haul. So I think sometimes when you make a free agent signing, people look at it as a quick fix, and that certainly wasn't the case with Panarin. And trading for Trouba certainly wasn't about a quick fix. This is about two guys that are just pieces of the puzzle of us moving forward and continue to strive to be a Stanley Cup contender year in and year out.
So does Hito have the leg up to be a number 2 center behind Meekin entering as camp starts?
Yeah, I wouldn't say leg up, but he's got a great opportunity to be the second line center.
How interested are you in seeing Igor? Because obviously you've had a year with Hank in Georgia. Igor seems like he is a mystery.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're anxious to see him play consistently over here. He had the opportunity to play in Traverse City and really liked what he did in the second game. It is different when you play on a smaller sheet. Your angle's a little bit different, and he's going to have to get used to the pace of play at this level. But you're talking about a guy who's got a ton of talent and we're incredibly high on.
To that end, would you want him to spend a year in Hartford, or is there any circumstance where you could see him starting the year up here?
Yeah, I just think his play will determine that.
Did Traverse City leave you with one or two stats or impressions from what those guys did?
It was fun for us because a lot of us hadn't seen these guys play at this level, so you know, you see these guys getting drafted and you hear about them, and it's nice to see them actually get out there and compete against other teams and their rookies, and you know, we're very optimistic and feel good about our depth in our draft books.
Does Leah start in the middle or on the wing?
In the middle.
Is there a challenge from the coaching perspective? Capo comes here with all the expectation, number 2 pick. You have to temper, gauge. How do you keep it in, reality so things don't get ahead of itself?
Yeah, obviously he's had a lot of attention, and for good reason. I mean, he's, like I said earlier, he's a guy that's had success against pros, so I think that the expectations are high, and they should be high, but it's also a learning curve. He's 19 years old, and it's going to be, might take a little bit of time for him to get acclimated to the NHL style of play, and but I think for sure you want to temper the expectations and keep everything in check, and keep the expectations realistic.
I'm sure you know a little bit about Fox. What were your expectations with him?
Well, he's a guy that has incredible hockey IQ. I mean, he's got an NHL brain, and the thing about him is he's had the puck an awful lot no matter what level he's played at, so I think the question on him has always been, from a defending standpoint, a skating standpoint, that's not a concern of mine. The question is how quickly can he adapt to this level of play? And I have no doubt it's going to happen. The question is when, not if.
So Phil starts in the middle, Leah starts in the middle. Howden in the middle, Strome fluctuating?
Yeah, Strome gives us flexibility, and again, all of this is
Today.
It's today, so next 3 weeks it's all going to play out. Strome did a good job on the wing last year. I think he gives us flexibility, and it may be a game-to-game thing too with these young centermen. Someone may be having a great night, someone may be having an off night. One guy might be the second line center one night, the other guy might be the second line center the next night. It all depends on their play. And Strome gives us an opportunity to put somebody in the middle if we feel that's the right move in that particular instance.
You're kind of a proponent of straight line, smash mouth, whatever you want. You may have guys here who don't quite fit that profile. I mean, so how do you adapt to them a little bit, or do you expect them to make the?
I think a little bit of both. And again, everybody's born with a certain type of DNA. And, you know, I also realize you can't have 12 forwards that are just going that way all the time. What you want to have is these skill guys to have a little bit of that in their game when it's needed. And I guess you're looking for the players to meet you halfway and to add what they can, that element of the game, to their game. And you're not asking everybody to run around to be, Lemieux type players. Right? You got to let people play to their strengths, and you need them to be physical enough or hard enough to allow their skills to influence the game. That's all I ask. If you're a high-end skilled player, I want you to be hard enough and tough enough to let your skills influence the game.
Do you have enough Lemieux type players? Do you need more?
Having more wouldn't hurt, but again, I think there are guys here that have it in them to do it more consistently.
You and JD, last 2 days, kind of talked about goaltender game management. Do you have kind of a rough outline how many games you want Hank to play and how many games you want George to play, or is that still to be determined?
Yeah, it's to be determined.
You want a captain, your preference to have a captain.
I think we'd like to have a captain, but again, that's something that's going to evolve. I think we're in a situation where that's just going to happen, and the captain will pick himself in a lot of ways.
When you look at teams taking penalties against you, do you think now you have the ability to make people pay for those mistakes?
Yeah, and it's funny, talking to some of our guys, when the season ends, you remember the last 20 games of the season. I think what may have been lost for our year last year, at the trade deadline, we were 11th in the league in power play. So our power play was a lot better than maybe we all remember it, me included, because when the season ended, it got to the point where we almost wanted to decline the power play opportunity. So, but there was a long stretch where our power play was productive. When we made those changes and made the trades, the whole dynamic of our power play changed. And, I don't think we're going to have that this year.
With changes at the trade deadline, you referenced that, and players who are here, you have Chris Kreider's here, who's entering last year of his contract. And I remember you had a thing with Zook last year where maybe he needed a little pep talk at a certain point. Do you think the same thing could happen with Chris?
I don't think so. No. And again, I know every team has guys in the last year of their contracts. Obviously, Chris is a high-profile player in the name, so I understand the questions, but I don't anticipate that at all.
Speaking of Lemieux-type players, Brendan Lemieux himself said he's talked about how he's glad to be here. From your end, just glad to get him in and kind of start from square one with him.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen him, he looks different too. He's a guy that's probably lost about 10 or 11 pounds. He's lean, he's in great shape. I think last year coming here was a little bit of an eye-opener for him because he was coming from a situation, wasn't playing a lot of minutes, and all of a sudden he's playing 13, 14 minutes a night, which was a big jump for him. And he would come to the bench and his face would be beet red and exhausted, which you love because that means he's given his all, but he just wasn't ready to handle that workload to no fault of his or anybody's really. And one of the things we talked to him about was maybe leaning up a little bit, not being as big. He's always going to be strong enough, but the speed piece certainly is something that we thought would improve if he did lean up a little bit. And boy, he came in incredible shape and certainly put an awful lot of work in over the summer to put himself in a position I think that would be good.
When you walked in here, you said summer was way too long. Is that something you say every year, or is this because of what transpired?
Yeah, just obviously not making the playoffs and having 5 months off. Don't get me wrong, I like a good vacation just like everybody, but 5 months is a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you.